Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Emily Campagno here with my co-host, Kayleigh McEnany, and also joining us today, Fox Business correspondent Jerry Willis, former RNC Deputy Communications Director and Vice President of COIN, Cassie Smedley, and Fox News contributor and National Review Institute fellow, Douglas Murray. Now we begin with a whistleblower's shocking new claims about our country's research into UFOs. Last May, Congress held its first hearing on UFOs in over 50 years. Intelligence experts testified at the time about hundreds of encounters with unidentified objects and gave Americans a glimpse into some of the military's apparent run-ins with unidentified aircraft. Now, an Air Force veteran and former high-ranking intelligence official is blowing the whistle on an alleged UFO Retrieval Program, which he says has been run by the U.S. government for decades. David Grush claims the government is now in possession of partial and fully intact aircraft of non-human origin. And several current members of the program have corroborated some of those allegations with the Office of the Inspector General. Grush says that information on the deeply covert program has been withheld from Congress and is now speaking out about this secretive program.
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will. It's probably not the right parlance, but no kidding, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
How many?
Quite a number.
Quite a number, Kayleigh. And what's partially fascinating about this is he's not the first one. And we know that some of this is being corroborated by other actors here. And the question remains, who then will win this, what he says is a race, an arms race, to discover the origins of this and how we can recreate it.
Yeah, this is a crazy story. Let me start by saying I would have to have an extraterrestrial being sitting right here to ever believe they exist, because I just don't. So let's start there. I've always believed hypersonic missiles could be the explanation. And then I saw that he said that they've been collecting these parts for decades. So I went back and looked. Hypersonic missiles have been around since about the 1940s. So that could be an explanation. The New York Times, they've actually said that weather balloons, objects from foreign powers, and airborne clutter explains a lot of the sightings we've seen. Putting all that aside, the reason I say this story is crazy is the man you just watched is highly credible. He's a decorated veteran. He's described as beyond reproach. It's not just him. It's multiple intelligence officials who have reported on this to Congress, and it has been kept from Congress for a long time. So why are they hiding this from Congress? Why is this program secret? That raises a lot of questions. But until there's an alien here, I'm still on the other side.
A healthy dose of skepticism. I appreciate that.
Yes.
But also on the other side, anyone who listens to the Joe Rogan podcast knows that Bob Lazar, for years now, has been saying the exact same thing. His story was incredible about working in a subset of Area 51 and essentially decades ago, yes, being tasked by the U.S. government of reverse engineering a UFO that was hanging out in their hangar. In fact, they had multiple objects of non-human origin that Americans were tasked with, hey, figure this out, try to recreate this. And that is exactly what is being said now by this whistleblower also.
Yeah, the problem always with this story, I'm with Kayleigh, I'm highly skeptical. I generally think that everything can be explained by, new military technologies, either from this country or from other countries. I've always taken that line. That said, there's always this interest in it. There's always unexplained issues in this area. And my worry about it in part is that every time even somebody credible speaks about it, they immediately become effectively regarded as a sort of whack job, crazy, It's the fastest subject to get into and make yourself look mad. And I think the really important thing about this is why things were being kept from Congress. Now, you may say...
Yes. Exactly right.
You may say, well, it's because Congress leaks like a sieve. You wouldn't share any secret with Congress. why would you do that?
Well, it shouldn't be a secret.
But it shouldn't be the case. Exactly. It shouldn't be the case.
Me three on this, okay? Me three. I'm skeptical, right? But I went to a major source to find out what the reality of this is. Abby Hornacek hosts Alien Abductions on Fox Nation. And she said, hey, look, the government is not going to share this information because they think it's national security. So there's no incentive for them to share this information. But I have to tell you, this is all going to fall or rise on the credibility of this source. Is he proven to be telling the truth? Is this a real story? Can it be corroborated? I would just add that only one of the cases that the Department of Defense was able to look into that were filed by military pilots, okay, that's a pretty credible source, was able to be corroborated. Only 1 out of 144. So sit back and take that in. I have big questions, but I'm happy to be proven wrong, and I would love the DOD, the government in general, NASA to come out with real information here.
I don't want to be proven wrong about aliens.
All right, so
It could be good.
Everyone knows that I'm the one sitting outside with the tinfoil hat. All right. So I love this stuff. I've been reading books about it for years, and I feel that it would be laughable to assume that we know everything, that everything has been not only published but also would be accessible by the American people. And secondly, against the landscape, this is not a vacuum. We have established a National Reconnaissance Office, an Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, a National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, in addition to Area 51 and Subset S, I think the name of it is. There are so many more. So this isn't out of nowhere. We have, quite frankly, a robust, structured, what we do know about existence within the government of exploring and or processing this.
So when I saw this topic, I was like, thank God we have our extraterrestrial expert on the couch, because I know this is a pet issue for you. I lie somewhere in the middle. I'm not so vain as to believe that we are alone in the universe. But I also don't know that this is like the next Independence Day 3 coming at us. I just learned that Congress rolled back some protections, or actually increased protections for whistleblowers in this area. So things that have previously been behind the firewall, caught up in the bureaucracy, that's why we're now seeing whistleblowers feel free to come forward, like with coming to Congress last year. So I think we're just learning about all that's been looked into over these decades. And I think more information is better, but I'm hoping our visitors are friendly.
Yes, they better be friendly. They're obviously smart, so we better hope they're friendly as well.
Or else we're going to be the top 3 targets.
Yeah, and I mean, it couldn't look. It could be like we could be dumber than we are at the moment in our societies, could it be?
But the question remains: maybe they're not brilliant. Maybe they're not.
But focusing on this story now, this whistleblower breaking story here, what are your thoughts on the fact that now, were this to be true, we are in a race with definitely enemy nations like China, for example, to uncover the root of this that could be used for their military benefit. That should be a frightening thought to any American, regardless whether you believe in little green men. What say you, Kaylee?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they're unidentified aircrafts is troublesome. I mean, whatever it is, extraterrestrial or China or Russia, like, who is putting these unidentified objects above us in U.S. airspace and beyond? And, this whistleblower, he says that these crafts are of non-human origins. And I asked myself, how does he know that? How could it could be just China that has some more advanced technology than us. But he went on to say, he came to that conclusion based on the vehicle morphologies and material science testing and the possession of unique atomic arrangements. So maybe someone can translate that for me. Maybe you know, Emily, but how do you know they're non-human?
Guys, everyone's homework is to listen to all of Bob Lazar's interviews. You will become a believer like me. And when they do land, I will say, I told you so. Hey, everyone, I'm Emily Compagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.